I've heard you may actually be stronger than you look. Perhaps we can hunt together someday. A citizen of Falkreath has asked for our help. It seems that a predator has invaded their home, and someone needs to clear the beast out. Be cautious. Beasts are not nearly as
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyanI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys? It's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 281 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out, and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with Gamersups, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods, and starting us off at our number 5 spot, we have a simple immersion mod called Use Those Blankets. Now the mod page reads that Skyrim is cold. Why doesn't anyone use a blanket while sleeping? Or, you know, get inside their bedroll. This mod aims to fix this, with support for both NPCs and the player as well. For NPC support, NPCs will now use a blanket while sleeping, with different supports for different types of beds, and they'll no longer be sleeping on top of the bedroll like complete dimwits. Finally. And if you have mods that support sleeping as a player, being able to see yourself in a bed while you're sleeping, if you're using a mod such as Go to Bed, players can also cover themselves with a blanket too. The Go to Bed mod uses the wait menu to sleep, so that's exactly how to activate the blanket for the player. While you're laying down, you can simply press T or whatever key you have for waiting, and the blanket will then pop up. And then pressing W or the forward key will make the blanket disappear. Now this is only for the player. NPCs use blankets automatically whenever they sleep. So this is pretty much just a very simple mod that makes it so every NPC, as well as yourself around Skyrim, will actually use blankets under a bed, because I always thought that that was also pretty ridiculous in the vanilla game of Skyrim, where they just kind of sleep on top and they don't actually sleep in the bed, or, I mean they do, but they don't use any covers, and you know, Skyrim is a cold place like the mod author says, so that's definitely right there. It's just a very simple immersion mod that'll just get you more into the game and make it feel more realistic, and it's very small, coming in at just under 2 megabytes, so it'll slip into any load order that you have out there, and that's definitely why I Use Those Blankets is coming in at our number 5 spot this week, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and adding it to your next playthrough of Skyrim. Coming in at the number 4 spot this week, we have a brand new mod that allows you to become a guard of Whiterun. This is the Become a Whiterun Guard mod. In the mod page reads that I've always enjoyed the Whiterun Guard playthrough and made this mod for role-playing purposes. How far will you go to protect the hold? The Whiterun Guards need you. Activate the Shield of Alliance in the Guard Barracks and become the latest Whiterun Guard recruit. You can go on patrol with your partner Luca and enforce the Jarl's orders across the hold. How far will you go to keep Whiterun citizens safe? Now more info about this mod is the Shield of Alliance that you can activate inside the Whiterun Guard Barracks. This is located behind the Bannered Mare and not at the main gate. I was a little confused at the beginning too, and this activating the shield allows you to join the Whiterun Guard faction immediately. You also unlock a chest containing your armor and a bed to rest at night. On top of that, you also get a new follower named Luca, and you can recruit him to your fellow guard partner and you can patrol together. Luca is a larger-than-life in more ways than one, and he has his own custom-wide girth armor. He stands at 1.1 height and wields a two-handed battle axe, so he's incredibly badass and you can't miss him when looking for him. Luca has a happy disposition with a male young eager voice, and when not a follower, he will patrol the market and the main gate, and has a few drinks at the Bannered Mare after work. There's also custom armor that goes along with this mod for Luca with his big bellied armor, and he comes equipped with Whiterun guard armor as well, and some sleeping robes. Inside of the player chest is matching Imperial and Stormcloak armor. If the player wishes to join those factions too, you can dress Luca up in that faction armor as well. Finally, you're going to have different dialogue with the guards all throughout Whiterun whenever you join this faction, and it just adds conditions to prevent guards from saying specific lines whenever the player enters and speaks to a Whiterun guard, such as the "You look tired friend," "The Bannered Mare has beds for rent," "Let me guess someone stole your sweet roll," and our favorite, "I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee." You no longer hear these 3 lines because you're now part of the Whiterun Guard, and it wouldn't feel right if you were still hearing these lines. There's so much that you can do with this mod and so many different role-playing aspects that I really like what they bring to the table with this mod, and with it coming in at 571.15 kilobytes, just like the Under Those Blankets mod, it'll disappear into your load order and feel like a part of the vanilla game. And that's definitely why the Become a Whiterun Guard comes at our number 4 spot this week, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and becoming a true Whiterun Guard for yourself. Coming in at the number 3 spot this week, we have a brand new mod that completely changes the looks to pretty much every single spell in Skyrim. This is the Strange Runes mod. We're going to be using the Lite version because it's lower in memory space and has tons of different features that are also available in the regular Strange Runes mod. It's just lower in memory space and fits a lot nicer into our load orders here. But this Strange Runes Lite mod allows for NPCs as well as the player to cast runes, and it's not just the actual physical rune spells themselves, such as Shock, Fire, and Frost, it's for every single spell. Whether you're using healing, a dispel, a ward, any type of spell that you're going to be using all throughout Skyrim will now have these runes whenever you cast them, and they look extremely badass and remind me of Doctor Strange's spells too. Now there's over 55 different types of runes based on the spells being cast, and it's also compatible with every single spell mod by default, with additional support for Apocalypse, Arcanium, the Elemental Destruction Magic Redo, Mysticism, the Lost Grimoire of Skyrim, Forgotten Magic Redone. You won't need any patches for those mods, and it'll just work properly alongside it, so that's definitely really cool. This mod has also been tested alongside Magiska, new animation for magic casting, the Mystic Knight mod, and the finally first-person magic animation mods. Other animation mods will also be fine if it wasn't listed in there, so just the fact at the beginning that you have tons of different spells being overhauled in the game, and it also works with tons of different other mods that add more spells as well as change the animations for those spell castings. This is going to work with pretty much any type of load order that you're building, and I really like the looks of these runes. They look incredibly badass, and you can also dual cast them as well, so if you have, maybe a healing spell in one hand and you're using a ward in the other, the runes will actually combine and it'll make it look even better and more badass. And the sparks that fly up whenever you start casting these runes, there's so much detail that was put into this mod, jamming it all into 22.79 megabytes, that this would be a perfect addition to any mage load order that you could possibly think of. And that's definitely why the Strange Runes Lite mod comes in at our number 3 spot this week, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and transforming your next mage playthrough of Skyrim. Coming in at the number 2 spot this week, we have a mod that I've covered in the past and featured in previous load order videos, but the mod was originally taken down, but has recently been posted up again and added alongside other mods that are also incredibly useful into one nice mod pack here. This is the There Will Be Blood and Bubbles mod. The mod page reads that this combines tons of different mods all together to increase the textures of blood, make it so blood actually stays on your character, as well as you're able to take baths and get dirty and have different types of effects whenever you're dirty on your character. It's just a perfect mod for not only immersion, but also just, staying clean, having some realism, as well as getting into all these fights all throughout Skyrim. Your armor's gonna get bloody over time, and I really like that feature of this mod. But this is an actual mod pack, so the mods included inside of this mod pack here, we have the Dirt and Blood mod, of course, which was the original one that we had in our previous load orders. You also have the Dirt and Blood HD retexture, as well as the Enhanced Blood Textures mod, so your blood textures whenever you're slaying enemies or blood's flying, you're using a sword or a mace, you name it, there's going to be different types of blood textures. It's going to be darker and look a lot cooler too. I really like the looks of these new blood textures. Next up, you have the In Soaps mod, as well as the More Soaps for Dirt and Blood with In Soaps patch, which just makes it so there's soaps all throughout, inns, and then on top of that you have the simple inn bath mod, which allows you to take a bath inside of any inn throughout Skyrim for 10 gold. Once you ask the innkeeper to take a bath, it'll teleport you to a room where you can use this power called wash and rinse, and you can actually just take a bath inside of here. But if you actually don't want to go all the way to an inn to take a bath, you could actually just use the wash and rinse power anywhere all throughout Skyrim. So as you probably saw there, I was inside of a river and I was able to use the water to actually cover myself off. You don't have to be in water. I just think it's a lot more realistic to be around a body of water when you do it, because if you're just like in the middle of a desert and you start taking a bath, that wouldn't really make much sense. So I just kind of do it in a way that's more of an immersion boost. If you're near any type of body of water, you can just sit in it, use this wash and rinse power and wash yourself off. But you may be asking, wouldn't you want to become dirty? Wouldn't it look cool to have your armor all completely torn up and bloody and messed up? Well, yeah, it does look really cool, but then whenever you go to sell all of your items later down the line, you're going to have a speech debuff, which makes it so whenever you walk into a general goods store to sell off your stuff, the guy running the counter is going to see you covered in blood and charge you a lot more, as well as not give you as much because he might be afraid of you. So it's always best to keep your armor nice and clean whenever you're selling stuff, but if you're out and about and getting wrecked or wrecking other people as you're exploring Skyrim, it's always good to have a little dirt and blood on you, and that's what I really love about this mod. So if you're looking to completely enhance your next playthrough of Skyrim and make it a lot more realistic, as well as be able to see blood on your character and just have a lot more bloodbaths whenever you're going into battle in Skyrim, then the There Will Be Blood and Bubbles mod is definitely a mod pack I'd recommend checking out, so go download and add it to your next playthrough of Skyrim. Coming in at the number 1 spot this week, we have a brand new mod pack that covers tons of different cities all throughout the game with new textures and architectures as well, and it does this coming in at 223.18 megabytes, which has got to be the lowest memory size for a mod of this size here. You know, the amount that it covers within this mod here coming in at this low of a memory space, it just blows my mind here. But finally, this is the Cities and Farmhouse all-in-one mod, and it covers Windhelm, Solitude, Whiterun, Riften, and farmhouses including Riverwood and Falkreath, and the mod page reads that do you have a potato PC? Is it a bit weaker, or do you just want a retexture which doesn't murder your GPU and CPU? As a person who owned a potato PC, I know exactly how badly I want a retexture, but feeling sad about those 4K monsters that completely destroy your PC. Well, no more. Here is just for you a gorgeous retexture made for the community. These are not meant to be as sharp as 4K because they're not, so they're different in size and a lot smaller, but they still look absolutely amazing. So Windhelm, Solitude, Whiterun, Riften, and farmhouses, tons of different areas all throughout the game, covered in just retextures and remastered, and these look amazing. You know, I would think that coming in with a smaller size such as 512 or maybe 1K textures, you'd be able to see a dip in quality, but I really don't see that much here. Maybe it's because we're playing on Xbox and maybe it's a lot easier to see on PC or if you're using the Series X consoles, but whether it's 4K, 2K, 1K, 512, these new textures look awesome and I really have no complaints about them. And there's so much that it covers, so many different cities all throughout the game at such a low memory space. This is just an amazing mod. So let's take a look around some of these brand new remastered areas and we can decide for ourselves which remaster do you think is better, because we've covered so many over the past couple of weeks here and there's so many new mod packs that are being brought to the mod page each and every single day. So I want to know from you guys, what's your favorite complete overhaul of Skyrim? You know, we have Skyland, we covered SRP, you know, Gamer Polly made a bunch of them too. There's this Cities and Farmhouse mod now. There's so many different mod packs that completely transform Skyrim as a whole, and they're all different ranging of memory space as well. Some come in at a gigabyte but make all the textures look absolutely amazing. Some are a lot smaller and maybe aren't the better textures but cover way more than the other mods. There's so much to choose from whenever building a load order, and I feel like this is probably the best time to build a new load order because of just the sheer amount of variety that you have and choices whenever it comes to the architectures, your landscaping, just the cities in general, your UI. There's tons of new UI mods that have been coming to the mod page here. Modding in Skyrim has never been so great. So if you like what you see and you think that these cities are how the cities should be and these textures look really great and you just want them to be in your game, then I'd strongly recommend downloading Cities and Farmhouse all in one and completely transforming your next playthrough of Skyrim. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can join our Discord. I'll be sure to leave the Discord link in the description as well as the pinned comment so you can join us on there and leave mod suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys later.